Everybody, and welcome to another episode of Awaken to Your Soul Path. I am your host, Barbara, and I am joined by your other fabulous host, Robynn Sheridan. And today we are going to continue our discovery of everything combined and connected to awakening to your soul path. And last time we promised you guys that we would talk about the influence of your words on the other person. So that is the thing that we're going to talk about. And we also wanted to dive in a little bit deeper into the symptoms and manifestations that you can experience right now with everything that's going on, so that you know that you're not alone and how you can recognize it. So, Robynn, hi, welcome.
Hi. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. We were just talking about it, Robynn and me. We have foggy brain, and it manifests like you get up because you need to go somewhere or you want to do something, and then you've walked 2 paces and then you think, what was I going to do again?
It's just really weird. We're all going through, you can call it an ascension process if you want, but we've got there's the Schumann resonance, and I don't understand all of it completely, but it has a lot to do with these solar flares that are coming off the sun, and they're affecting us. And I woke up yesterday and I felt like I'd been run over by a truck. And then I went online and I checked what the Schumann resonance had been. And it was just crazy. All of this energy, it's on a graph. And I thought, well, no wonder I'm so out of sorts. And then I was telling Barbara, like for the last 3 days, I get up to do something. It's like, what was I going to do? It's like my brain has shut down. I was just so exhausted yesterday. I didn't even try to do anything. I just read a book and vegged. So how was your Sunday for you, Barbara?
Well, I have to say I am proud of myself. I finished something that I was meaning to finish, but that was a lot of work, and I finally got to finish it yesterday. And at the end of the day, I went to my favorite spot in nature with my hammock to go and have some peace and quiet. And that was my idea for last Sunday. So I got up early, I took everything with me, my hammock, some nice food, some nice drinks, and I went to my favorite spot where normally I am by myself and nobody is there, just me, nature, the river, maybe cows or horses come by. That's always fun. But last Sunday, I don't know what was wrong with people, but everybody was there and there was no space, no room. So I created my own bubble with my headset to just separate myself and get that peace that I needed. But it was not nice. So this Sunday, I really wanted that peace and quiet again, but because last Sunday was such a huge disappointment, and it takes me almost an hour to get there. So it's not, like I will do that and then I'll just go there, and if it's not, I will go home, because it's quite a trip. And this time I thought, I'm going to do stuff in the house, finish up some things, which I managed to do. Not everything that I had planned to do, but at least I finished one thing. It took me the entire day. Normally it would take me 2 hours tops. It took me the entire day, but I thought we'll just go with it. And then I went to my nature spot at around 5:30 p.m. our time, and I took food with me. And then I stayed there until 9, and there was nobody left anymore. Everybody had gone home, and I finally had my peace and quiet, and it was amazing.
I love that. Yeah, I was in my backyard. My daughter and son-in-law, they had bought this outdoor, it's like an outdoor couch, but you can lounge on it. It's almost the size of a futon, right? And they brought it for me to use because my lawn furniture is all kaput. It's so old. And the cats and I were out there yesterday just lounging on this thing, and I was reading, and we had some sunshine. So it's nice. It's nice when you can get outside and get that fresh air and that sunshine. Today is beautiful. It's supposed to hit 21 Celsius here today, so it's going to be warm. But yeah, I don't know. It's been really hard for me to focus I haven't had any inspiration. I haven't had any, I don't know, those little nudges to do anything. I'm taking a course right now, and I haven't worked on the course at all since a week ago.
Oh, then you're doing much better than me. I started a new course on April the 1st and I haven't done anything with it. So officially I'm studying for 2 months and I haven't done anything. And you're also lucky to have a backyard, because here in the Netherlands, everybody lives very close together. So I don't have any peace and quiet in my yard. My neighbors have small children and there are students in the houses on the other side, and it's constant noise and people talking. And that's why I flee basically to that spot in nature where I can be. And I'm seriously considering ordering a hammock standard for myself, because then I also don't need to depend on the exact 2 trees that are the only place I can put my hammock. Yeah, so I become more free. So I'm looking at foldable handmade standards, but it's the energy. I've been up and down with my emotions. Some nights I sleep very deep and very long, other nights are very restless and very short, and that's also what I saw with the Schumann resonance. And for those of you that are watching that don't know what it is, it's basically the vibration of our earth. And normally the Schumann resonance, I think it's 7.83, right? 7.83 hertz. That's the normal frequency of our planet. The vibration that our planet, it's a very grounding tone. And if you feel not grounded enough, then there are lots of Schumann resonance audios on YouTube for free, for instance, that you can play and listen to while you're sleeping or while you're lounging. That will help you connect to the earth's vibration and help you ground really well. But lately, the Schumann resonance has shifted hertz. So it's much more in the range of 8.2 to 8.5 instead of 7.83. So that's already a shift in the grounding tone, the grounding vibration of our earth. And then indeed we have the solar flares and the lunar eclipse and all those types of things. And then you see spikes in the energy. And when you are more energy sensitive, you feel these spikes. And what I've read and heard and listened about all of this that's happening, it causes severe weather changes, like heavy storms, where we're having beautiful weather, then heavy storms, beautiful weather, heavy storms, cold days, warm days. It's all over the place, just like we are feeling. The weather is also all over the place, but that's because the Earth's frequency is all over the place. And what I understand is that these are like growing pains that allow both the planet and us as humans to shift to the new reality that we are going to. The whole purpose of it is that we are being asked to let go of all old baggage, old ballast, everything that we don't need. So what you can feel and notice is that old patterns come back, or old issues, things that you thought, well, I already healed that quite some time ago. Why is this coming back? Or things that you haven't dealt with that you need to heal or deal with right now. And the entirety of everything is also extremely exhausting.
Well, and that's true, because it's weird. My dreams, it's so funny. My daughters are in their 40s, and their dad and I weren't married for very long. And my dreams were all about him and the energy when we were married, and it wasn't good. And I woke up just like bitching about it. It was like, okay, so I need to let this go. This energy is still stored in ourselves. And so basically this is giving us an opportunity to say, hey, I'm ready to let this go. Go ahead, cellular memory, let it go. And it is powerful. I'm glad that Barbara knows more, because I could never explain it. I just look at the vibrations, I look at the charts, and it's like, okay, I get it now. I know why I'm out of sorts and not feeling very well. But when I talk to people, like, people are the same way. I'm talking to them on their phone and they're just angry and frustrated, and they're no longer happy in their job. They're no longer happy with the way their life is going. And that seems to be the people I'm talking to, my clientele. That's what they're going through right now. They're like, I'm no longer happy. I'm no longer content. I want to leave this house. I want to move. I want a better relationship.
That's
So this is really what's being stirred up.
Yes, or they're feeling depressed, or they think, oh, I don't know if my dreams are my dreams anymore. That's a phase that I'm going through personally. I had a very clear vision of what my dreams were. And lately I've been feeling, I don't know if my dreams are my dreams anymore. And I don't really know what my future is going to be. I don't know if I still want what I always wanted, or what I got very clear of in the last couple of years, what I wanted. Right now, I don't think I want that anymore. And then that calls up all these types of frustration, but also uncertainty, and combine that with all the other things that are going on. For me also, I was dreaming about an ex of 15 years ago that I thought, why, there's so much water under that bridge, and indeed it's I think I compare it to like an oscillator. An oscillator is something that vibrates like this in order to get things to come loose. And I think that that's why the Schumann resonance is doing this funky thing to oscillate our baggage and to get it loose and to vibrate it out of us, so to say, so that we can heal it, deal with it, let it go. And we need to do that in order to be effective, both as leaders, but also as participants in the new reality that we are moving towards.
Yeah, it is incredibly powerful. And I've also got a really short attention span. It's so hard for me to focus on anything, because I start focusing on something and then it's like, oh, well, I want to do this. And it's like doing the multitasking, but multitasking doesn't actually work, because your brain actually shuts down and stops what you're doing for you to do something else. But it happens so quickly, you assume you can multitask, but we literally can't. Our brain goes, oh, okay, and it stops, and then it goes to the next thing, and then it flips back and forth. And that's kind of exhausting too.
And multitasking actually uses up a lot more energy than when you would just focus on one task and finish it, and then the next task and finish it. And I remember yesterday I was working on my thing that normally would take me 2 hours, and it took me now the entire day. And then I saw a note I had made, and I thought, oh my God, I still need to email those people. So I thought, oh, let's do this now. It's in my memory before I forget again. So I opened up my email client, and then there were this barrage of emails, and I started handling these emails, and then I was done with these emails, and then I thought, why was I here? And I thought, well, I have no clue. So I closed the thing again. I went on with what I was doing before, and then I looked at my notes and I saw the email address, and I thought, oh, that's why I was there. I was going to email these people.
Yeah, it is just so funny. It really is. I'm just hoping that everybody that's listening to this goes, oh yeah, that's how I feel. But it's just nice to get outside, get grounded, feel that fresh air, go for a walk. If you're having these kind of issues, go outside if you can, go for a walk. And I have to make notes. Like I was explaining to Barbara that I have my calendar, and I have things in my calendar, my computer, but I also have a whiteboard. And the whiteboard is just a quick glance. And it used to be on my phone when I used to work outside of the house. So I had it on the phone calendar, but it's not on my phone anymore, because unless it rings, I don't touch my phone anymore, because I'm working from home. So it's almost to the point where it's like, maybe I should start counseling a lot of the stuff I have on my phone that I don't use anymore. Maybe save myself a couple of bucks.
Yeah, and you're making an excellent point, because aside from talking about everything that you're experiencing, and I hope that you recognize yourself a part of your experiences and what we're talking, so that you know you're not alone. But the way to handle that is indeed to go in nature a lot, to connect with nature's energy, but also to be kind to yourself, and not get frustrated, not get angry at yourself for, why am I back here again? I thought we had solved this, and go on that rant towards yourself. But indeed, just recognizing it for what it is. It's an invitation to let this go. And how do you let this go? By going into nature, by quieting your mind, by meditating, by just being. And you can combine that with nature. You can meditate in nature, nature. You can just be in nature. You can also do it separately, meditate in your house and then go for a walk. But the most important things, I think, are to be kind to yourself, to not be hard on yourself, to approach it with as much humor as you can muster. And if you have trouble finding your humor, connect with people who can help you with your humor, because like we are now laughing about it, you might think it's silly, but it's the best medicine. Laughter is the best medicine. And if you can share experiences and can connect and think, oh, I'm not the only one going through this, and you can just laugh on about your silly things and the things that are happening, and just be kind to yourself, that's the best way of flowing through things. And for me, for instance, one of the things that's not cool is I have a severe pain in my back, and I already had it some time ago. It had to do with a past life experience. I dealt with it, and then now it's back, but it's higher in my back. And instead of being frustrated, I am now sending it as much love as I can. I'm doing the Hawaiian ritual, Ho'oponopono. For those who don't know that, it's saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And you don't really have to say it to a specific thing or a specific, I was saying it specifically to my back pain, but you can also say it in general, and you just keep repeating it. And it's really helping with my back pain. And if you do discover that it has to do with a past life experience or maybe a childhood trauma or stuff like that, that's one of the things that you do a lot with, right, Robynn, with theta healing?
Yeah, I really do a lot with theta healing. We go into your childhood, past lives, emotions, how certain things, certain beliefs get started and how they get compounded over the years. And yeah, the whole forgiveness thing, like I just changed my alarm so I could get up at 5 in the morning now to go for walks, because it's light out enough now to go at 5 and get that fresh air and get moving. And there's ways we can do this. We just, do something an hour earlier, or, so that we can get things done in our life. But yeah, see, train of thought.
But it doesn't have to be 5 a.m. because when you tell this, my heart cringes. I am not a morning person. I know there's an entire club of people that is the 5 a.m. club, and that preaches that you need to get up at 5 a.m. But I usually work until midnight. And then having to get up at 5 a.m., I don't get enough sleep, because as a highly sensitive person, an empath person, an intuitive and a spiritual person, I need in general at least 8 hours of uninterrupted good sleep. So if I already work until midnight, sometimes 11 p.m. in the evening, but sometimes also midnight, and that's because I am in the Netherlands and I work a lot with the United States and Canada. So we have the time zone difference, and I'm not a morning person, so I don't mind. I wake up at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. in the morning. That's my out of my own volition awakening time. And then I have the morning for myself to go for my walk in nature, to do my meditations. So please don't think you need to join the 5 a.m. club. It's only when it feels natural, and when you're already an early morning person. I am a night owl.
Yeah, see, and I'm, I had a shift where I had to be to work at 6 o'clock or 6:30. So I was always up at 4. So it is something I still wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I try to lay there, but your body gets into a habit. But again, let's move into this part of getting into a habit. Those of us that work from home, we can get into a habit of not necessarily dressing up during the day as an entrepreneur. And Barbara and I watched this YouTube, like with her group, and it said that 58% of how people perceive us is based on how we look. Around 36% is the tone of our voice, and 7% is what we're saying. And we were flabbergasted. I had no idea, but I had to giggle because it made sense to me. I remember going to buy a car or a computer, and the salesman would be all dressed up and their shoes were ratty. And I would always notice the shoes. I think, why go to all that not problem, but effort to dress up and look good and then put on ratty, ugly shoes.
But it also extends to your workplace, your house, and your car. Would you buy a $1.5 million villa from a guy who drives a beat up Volkswagen that's stuck together with tape and glue and that has rust everywhere? That doesn't really seem very convincing if you're paying 1.5 million for a house or even weighing 8 tons or something. So, and it goes even further than that. It's not just how people see you, but it's also your own energy. So what happened when COVID hit and everybody started working at home was that you have your comfy clothes, right? The things that you feel relaxed in. And for me, and I know Robynn also has cats, at home when I don't have to work, I'm wearing clothes that can get hairy, that my cats can cuddle with me and that I don't care about. And then whenever I went to the office, I had my office clothes that I did care about if they would become hairy or damaged by their nails or stuff. So I had home clothes and work clothes, but then your work is at home. So I started wearing home clothes to work because my work was at home. And then I might do a nice top at the on the top side, but then I would still wear sweatpants on the bottom because it's comfy.
Yeah.
And that is also influencing your energy and how you come across for other people. So now I've made a point. I'm wearing a dress. I made an effort. I'm wearing nice shoes, and that does make me feel different. Whenever I just dress for the occasion, they don't have the same dress for success for nothing. If you want to be perceived as an expert in your field or an authority in what you're sharing, and you want to attract people that are willing to invest with you, what do you think would work better? If you dress for the occasion, put your hair in a nice way. I'm not really a makeup person, so that's never really my thing, but at least put on a nice dress, nice shoes, and make sure that my hair is combed and stuff like that. Or when I would show up in sweatpants full with cat hair and maybe a coffee stain on my shirt or something like that. It's the difference, not only in what people see, but also how you feel yourself.
Well, and it is so true, because it does your vibration. How do I feel today? So today I'm going to my sister's. It's a holiday here in Canada and she's having a barbecue. So I've got on a nice shirt. I've got on a pair of really nice shorts. I'm barefooted. I'm always barefooted in my house. It's just part of my grounding process. I like being barefooted. But, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, if we're dressed grungy, we feel grungy. Now, I don't wear makeup. I've tried, but it doesn't feel authentic to me. And so this is what else is important, is how we dress. It still needs to feel authentic. If you're not comfortable, I haven't worn makeup since I was in my 30s. I never enjoyed it. It wasn't a process I like to do. I've been in sales for many, many years and never wore makeup, and it never stopped me from making awesome sales, because they're picking up on your energy, your authenticity.
Yes.
So that's really important. And then, of course, our tone of voice. I remember taking a course. I was a receptionist, and I took a course on how to be a good receptionist. And part of it, when you answered the phone, is you were supposed to lower your voice an octave. And it gave you a sense of authority. And it really did work. I noticed that when somebody, when I lowered my voice that octave, the person on the other end was more receptive to what I was saying. So it's all about, what's our message? How do we want to present ourselves? How do we want people to perceive us? But I think the thing that shocked me the most was that they only listen to 7% of what we say.
I registered for a webinar with a guy that had a really great ad, and I liked what he was saying. And I thought, well, this will be valuable, will be a valuable use of my time, and I can really learn something from him. And then I got on the webinar. There were only 4 other people there. That's already an impression that you get. But if it was still valuable, then that is not very important to me. But then he kept talking in this way, and everything that he was saying sounded like this. And by the time we were 10 minutes in, I was half asleep and I couldn't follow what he was saying anymore. See how you talk and how you are has a huge influence. And honestly, I cannot even tell you anymore what the rest of the webinar was about, because it was droning. He was droning on and on and on. And I really had a hard time keeping my eyes open. And I remember that at some point, I just left the webinar. I couldn't listen to it anymore. So you would only see him in the corner, and most of it was a presentation.
Right.
So the appearance part was fine, but then his tone of voice and how he was talking, maybe he had the answer to all of my problems, but it just never came to me, or it never registered with me, because I was incapable of actually hearing his words because of his tone of voice. And that's what we are trying to convey to you, the audience that's watching and listening to what we are saying. So and that's why I went to this voice where everything is the same, so that you can hear what happens when people start talking like this. You know, it's horrible, right? It's horrible. If we were to have a discussion with that tone of voice, both of us, I'm sure nobody would watch our show.
No, you just, and you know, there's also something else too. And of course, this isn't on the webinar. And the woman, it was amazing. She came out, when she came out, she looked like she was a punk rocker with tattoos all over the place. And that's how she started her presentation. And then she started taking off. I honestly thought the tattoos were real. That's how good it was. But then she took off these arm sleeves that had the tattoos, and she took off the crazy earrings and
huge boots. She was
huge boots. She took them off and put on her high heels. And it's so funny. You could actually see the energy changing around her. And we can, you know, being highly sensitive like you and I are, we can pick up people's energies. And I have been on webinars and on like Facebook Lives and things like that. And I've had to, even Clubhouse, I've had to leave the room because the energy is so negative and so draining that I'm like, my body starts to vibrate. Yes. And I'm like, I got to get off. I cannot, whose ever energy is being projected, it's just overwhelming. And I've literally had to get off of webinars and lives because of that.
Me too. And it even extends to emails and direct messages. I've had people send me a direct message that was so negative, so it came across so hostile, that I blocked them immediately, because I thought, I don't want this energy anywhere near me. So, and it's easier to block someone than to unfriend them again, because for some reason that's not a shortcut, but blocking is. So that's not because I really want to block them, but because I want the energy away. So it was shocking that only 7% of what people perceive are your actual words. That basically means that it doesn't really matter what you say. It's how you say it and how you present yourself when you are saying it that actually makes the impact. And I think that that's a good thing to be aware of, and especially when you're working with highly sensitive people, empath people, intuitive people, spiritual people, that works tenfold, because our sensory antenna is even more sensitive, and we literally hear more, see more, feel more, smell more, taste more, and experience more in the same situation than people who are not like us. So then it becomes even more important. So what she said is, you first need to get clear on, how do I want to come across? What do I want people to think when they see me? What do I want people to feel when they come near me? What do I want people to feel when I answer their email? What do I want people to feel when I answer their direct message or their text message or their messenger message or whatever message? How do I want them to feel when I talk with them on the phone? How do I want them to feel when I'm presenting something or hosting something? And then look at yourself and dare to be as honest as possible and see, is that how I am? Do I come across like that? Will people feel that energy? And like we said before, it extends to your house and your car. So if you want to be seen as someone who has their life put together, but your car looks like a trash belt on wheels that needs a serious cleaning, both the outside and the inside, then that's also not extending. And I felt it in my house when everything's messy and there are things here and there because you've been so busy you didn't really have time to tidy up. That does a lot with my energy and the energy in my house. How about you?
Yeah, and it's so true. Yeah, like I feng shui my house. Every year I get a new report and change it. But when people come up to your front of your house, that reflects who you are too. So there's this big thing about making sure the cobwebs are gone, and that your front porch is clean, and your front entrance, when people come into your front entrance, what's the first thing they see? All of those things are really important. But I wanted to just kind of go back to that when you're messaging people. And I'm the type of person that I don't like people messaging me for business. Like, I don't know you, you send me
Not the
that,
sales, no.
yeah, that sales thing on Messenger. And I remember one time that this woman was, being a little aggressive. And so I just gave her a thumbs up. She was so insulted. Like, her message back to me was, like, that's just so disrespectful. The least you could do is type something else. And I'm like, but, I didn't ask you to send me this information.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you to do your sales pitch through Messenger. So for me, giving you a thumbs up is about all the attention I'm going to give you, because one, I don't know you. Two, and then also there's people who won't take no. I go, no, thank you. And then it's like, well, how come? Do you really know what I'm talking about? Have you ever really experienced this? And I just got to the point when I say no, thank you, and you harass me back, I'm going to block you. It's just that simple. I post, I have my posts, we have our posts on social media. If you're interested in learning more, well, go to my website, reach out. We both offer free coffee chats. Book a free coffee chat, talk to us. We'll tell you what we do. To me, that's the politest way.
Yeah, but I've also have so many people that reach out and then their first question is, how are you doing? Or how is your business doing? But even the how are you doing yourself, I've always hated that question, because highly sensitive people, when you ask them how you're doing, you tend to reply honestly with how you're exactly how you're doing. And most people ask it to be polite. But we don't like shallow conversations, and we don't like shallow questions. So then when somebody I don't know asks me how I am, I don't want to answer that, because I don't talk about how I really am with people I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of trigger questions. You're right. Like, there's things that trigger people, and that's one of the things that I love with what we both do. Like with me, Theta, I help you clear those triggers so that people don't trigger you anymore. You help people figure out what their triggers are so that they can get their business up and running. But our language, our body language, how we talk, and it's so important, because I learned to read people's body language when I was in sales.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I really learned their body language, and we were taught to parrot their body language. Like, if the person's right in your face, and you stay in their face, kind of thing. But it's almost like a dance. It's like when we get on a conversation with each other, I pick up your energy, and then I respond to your energy.
Yes. And most people don't come from an authentic place. They come from a place, you can be my prospective client. So I'm going to try and figure out if you are actually a prospective client, so that I can then sell you. And that's the energy that you feel already with the question, how are you doing? Or how is your business doing? It's seldom, we don't know each other, and out of the blue, you're wondering how I am, right? How stupid do you think I am? That's not how it works. And that's what I see happening so much, because, and selling through chat is something that's now really being pushed. And the next thing that I truly hate is why I seldom give my phone number. The next thing is now selling through WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And, I already hate it when you do it through Messenger, but at least I don't have notifications on, and it's on the laptop and I can see it whenever I don't want or can block you or whatever, we have to deal with it. But the intrusion on my phone, even though I have it on silent most of the times, WhatsApp is the only thing, because I use that for my clients, that I do get notifications on, and I don't want you starting selling on WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever new way that the gurus are telling you that you should harass me even further. I think it's going totally the wrong way, but we're veering off topic a little bit. But the whole point of what we were trying to tell you today is that your energy, which is a combination of how much effort you've put into your appearance, what you think about yourself, when you look at yourself, how well you've thought out about how you want to come across, and then the tone of voice that you use, make up 93% of your connection with other people. So I think that is an important thing to keep in mind next time you're connecting with someone, next time you're talking with someone, be it in person, electronically, online, it doesn't really matter. How you look, what you say, how you say it, the tone of voice, those are the things that are even more important than the actual words that you use. And if you know this and you know how you want to come across, then those are very beneficial tools to have in your arsenal, especially when you're a business owner that wants to have authentic talks with people, heart-to-heart conversations with people. And even if you're coming from a place of authenticity, even if you have done all these steps and you come from a good place, then still you can encounter people that see it as a form of trying to sell you something, even though that's the furthest away from your intention as it can be. And that has then to do with their mindset and where they are in their healing process. So don't take that personal, as long as you know you're coming from the right place and you've thought out all of these elements. Then the other person can come from a very different place, maybe a negative place, but then you also know they're not ready for my types of talks.
Yeah, and just one little note here before we shut down is when you're going to have a conversation with somebody, have this in mind. How can I serve and support you? Have that energy in your heart chakra. When people call me on the coffee chat, my energy is, how can I serve and support you? What is it you're looking for? And if I can't help you, I'll tell you. If you're looking for business support, I'm going to send you to Barbara, because that's not what I do. But, if you're looking to clear beliefs and programs and you want to be happier and healthier within yourself, well, that's what I do. I work with you, on an interpersonal level. So, yeah.
Yes,
it's just
exactly.
about
That's what
having that
a big
energy
part of what I do as well. Getting clear on the blocks that you're having that are preventing you from being your real self and living the life that gives you the most pleasure and joy. And then translating that into a business is the next step of what I do. And serving and helping people and coming from that energy, I think that's beautiful, is what I do as well. And I think more people should be doing that. So that's a wonderful exit of our talk today. I hope you enjoyed this second episode of our Awaken to Your Soul Path show. We will be on every other week. We can also talk about questions if you have specific questions. So please feel free to reach out to either me or Robyn if you have questions about your dark night of the soul, or what a soul actually is, how you can feel your soul, how you can connect with it, how you know if you are connected to it, or all kinds of other questions that are related to these. And we'd be more than happy to take your questions or your topic into our next episode. So for today, I thank you for being here, for watching, for listening. I thank you, Robyn, for being my wonderful friend and co-host. And we would love to see you again in 2 weeks for our next episode.